So the one tip that I'm going to tell you that is going to help you with ADHD and organization is going to be break things down. I'm going to tell you 8 reasons why breaking things down is going to be amazing for you for organization. The first one is going to be that if you break things down, you are making a plan without knowing that you're making a plan. I'll explain real quick. You may think I'm bad at planning. I don't know how to plan. I don't know anything about planning. You tell me to plan, then I just don't know how I'm going to do it. But when you break things down, you actually do make a plan. Like if you're going to clean your closet out and you want to make sure that you clean everything out of the closet, but you know you can't do it all at once. So what you're going to do, you go to your closet, you look around, you say, hey, I'm going to do the left side right now. And then tomorrow I might do the right side. And on the right side, I think I'm going to do the jeans and maybe the shirts. But let me see about the left side. The left side, I'm not really worried about right now. If I have time, I'll do that tomorrow. You've broken it down and you have a plan now. You have planned your cleaning process for your closet. Another good thing about breaking it down is it can be used for so many different things, especially in organization. Say you want to figure out how to cook something, you can separate not only the steps that are in there, but separate them into different little sections so that you can break it down and understand it better. Or say you want to color code something where, hey, all these things are in one color, all these things in another color, all these things in another color. You have broken down the task of separating within colors. And so when you're organizing, you can use breaking it down for just about anything, whatever kind of category you need to come up with, whatever kind of steps you need to come up with. All these different things can be used because you're taking that big task, you're taking the thing that you are trying to figure out, and you're breaking it down into smaller sections, smaller steps, smaller categories. And so you're going to make that plan so that it's easier for you to understand. Now, another cool thing about breaking things down is that it is flexible and customizable to you. You have decided what categories, what steps, what you're going to put into your breakdown to reach that point. And so at any time, you can change those things. Say it's not working for you. Say you have a category and you're like, nothing's in that category. It's not really working for me. Say you put a step in, you're like, that step just isn't broken down enough to where it makes sense to me, or it's just a step that just doesn't work. At any time, you can go in and change that. It is flexible. You ever seen a football game, basketball game, reality TV show? They're all in the same kind of thing of where, hey, if something goes wrong, I have a plan, but that plan goes wrong and awry, I can change that plan. In sports at halftime and reality TV shows, there are teams of people on there and they all have plans to try to figure out how to win. And at some point, that plan goes awry and they're like, I got to switch my strategy now. I got to go talk to this person now instead. And these are different steps that they're taking. Don't want to be stuck in this really rigid plan unless you really have to. Otherwise, you want to where it's flexible, free flowing. You can be creative with it. You can adjust it on the fly. It just makes it more fun if you have the freedom. And because of the fact that you can break it down and you decided all this, you do have that freedom. And the cool thing about it is that once you decide on another step, it's going to be good for you. And that's the best part of it, because you're able to understand and figure out what steps are going to be best for you and adjust that in a flexible way for you. Now, another thing I think is a benefit of breaking it down is because you have designed this whole plan, you've broken everything down, you've made all the decisions, that you'll be able to focus on it more because of the fact that you've gotten the steps that make it good for you. All that in place, I think overall, you will be able to focus on it better. I know that for me, it helps me to focus on it better because I know, hey, I can go from this step to that step to this step. I don't have to spend time trying to figure it out. Don't have to spend time getting all lost and be like, whoa, this part is overwhelming for me. This part's not good for me. I have no idea what this step is. I don't have any idea where all these categories, there's too many categories or whatever. I know because I've made the plan. And so I think for you, the same thing is probably going to happen, is that when you have made the plan, when you put everything together, when you are the person that does it all, then you're able to focus on it more because you have the best understanding of it. Who better understands you than you? And so when you have customized that plan and made that plan, it's going to be much easier for you to understand the special things you put in it, the special symbols you put in it, all the different things that you put in it. Now, when you're breaking things down, you're breaking it down into smaller tasks from a big task. And so what that does, it creates less anxiety and stress for you because of the fact that you might be overwhelmed about this task and about this big thing, this big project that you have to do. But now you've broken it down to smaller individual tasks, smaller categories, smaller whatever. And you understand it better because, hey, that's a big task. I didn't understand all that. I didn't understand that project or whatever. But if I break it down to smaller parts, then that allows me to be like, hey, this is a big task, but it's not so big of a thing because I can do it in these certain steps that make sense to me. I can do it in these certain steps that I know that I can complete. I can do it in these certain steps because I know that I've designed these steps to help me get to the place that I need to get to keep going through the project or keep accomplishing the task. Whatever you need in that process, then you can break it down into those steps. And related to that last point, you have broken this big task into smaller tasks, and that is great when you have ADHD because of the fact that you get to complete more tasks. You get to complete things in less time. You just have little smaller tasks on the way to the big task. And so when you do that completion, when you reach those goals on the way to that big task, every time you do that, you're going to get some motivation because you're going to get a little more dopamine that's going to pop up, and that's going to reach into your reward center and be like, hey, I did something good. It's awesome. I completed something. And then that's going to motivate you to move forward and do the next task. You have just small tasks, and those small tasks lead to big tasks that you can complete. And another thing about all this, through all this whole process, I kind of already alluded to it, is that you're taking these steps and you're taking steps towards your big goals and you're progressing towards the big goal. And every step you take, little or small or huge or whatever, you're still making progress towards that big goal. And so that's great because you break things down, you have broken it down in smaller steps, then you know that each little step you take, every little motion forward that you take, every time you complete a task, that you're one step closer to that big goal. And that is an amazing feeling because you know at the end of everything, you will have accomplished the goal you set out to accomplish in the first place. And related to that point, you're making progress towards big goals. And so just realize that as you're doing this, as you're breaking everything down, you're still making that progress towards your big goal. You're still completing these tasks towards your big goal. And so you'll eventually reach your big goal for everything that you complete. So it's really important that you understand that as you break things down, as you complete these tasks, you're still going to reach that big goal. And that is an amazing thing. And now with ADHD, it's sometimes harder for you to complete tasks, and that's what this helps with, but it also may take you a long time to complete a task as well. If you're going to break things down, if you're going to accomplish things more, then instead of having to put the task off for a really long time, or kind of just saying, hey, I don't want to do it, it's just too overwhelming for me, I don't really want to do that right now, I'm going to avoid it. Instead of that, you're actually going through and completing the different tasks for yourself, different things for yourself that you put in place for yourself, and that way it keeps you moving forward. Generally, when you're doing things and broken it down, you end up completing things and you end up completing them faster and in less time. Now, these are not the only things about breaking things down. I also have a great video about keeping your motivation through organization to start organization, and that video you can see right here. Go watch that video because it gives you all different tips about organizing and motivation for organizing and getting things done.